Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show. I'm Nighthawk, one of your hosts, and we'll bring Eric on here momentarily. And I'm going to go over the disclaimers and everything, and then we're going to dabble a little bit into the kind of like the what's going on in the world type of news. Just about 5-10 minutes of it, if that. There's a couple things I want to bring to everybody's attention that I've noticed in the news. And let's see, copyright disclaimer is this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act, the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk High Strange, this podcast channel, and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content to be used for the sole purpose of informing you, the viewing family, of information for educational purposes, criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, general knowledge, and entertainment value per Title 17, subsection 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known as the Fair Use Act. Okay, let me get that off of there. Now, we know everybody's been talking about the solar eclipse and stuff that's coming up. April 8th, and everybody's talking about 3 days of darkness and all that. We're going to go over that a little bit today too, okay? But at first, I want to talk about a couple things. I don't know if anybody out here actually eats pig, whether it's bacon or whether it's kielbasa, sausage, whatever. But I saw that there was a large recall on Johnsonville kielbasa sausage. It was recalled because there was actually pieces of bone and rubber contamination in over 35,000 pounds of sausage. Bone fragments and plastic fragments. Could that be, dare I say, unalive human bone fragments? I don't know. They say we taste like pork, so I figured I'd bring that up. And we got, I don't know if you all have heard what's going on with Boeing. Boeing, the big manufacturer of all the jetliners and stuff that United Airlines and you know all the other ones use, Southwest and all that. But there was a whistleblower by the name of John Barnett, okay? And he had his first hearing with the senators on Capitol Hill one day before he was found unalive, okay, in his vehicle the next morning with not one, but two gunshot wounds to the head. Now, I don't know how you're able to double tap yourself unless you're very, very fast on the trigger, and if it's a hair trigger. But if you're unaliving yourself and you're letting these senators know that you're testifying to, in front of them, know that you fear for your life, which is what he did. Apparently, Boeing, he was a whistleblower because the 737 and 787 Boeing aircraft were found to have inferior parts that were replaced upon their 737 and 787 jetliners, okay? And they were causing all kinds of malfunctions. You guys probably saw the news clip of the tire falling off, the fire on the engine, all kinds of stuff. Landing gear not going down, just all kinds of freakish stuff that they put on these aircraft to try and pass them through to keep them in the air. At the same time, they're risking every customer's life that flies. And to tell you the truth, this old boy will not be flying anywhere until Yahuwah says I can go home. And that is the truth. Okay. So, anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. And today's topic, Let me get this off of here. Trying to find it. It's all the way up top. Hold on 1 second, everybody. There we go. There we go. Now, one thing for certain is that the whole Boeing 737 and 787 class uh, jetliners, you put your life in the hands of people we don't even know every freaking day. Think about it. The taxi driver that you think is going to be responsible enough to watch out for your life and not only his. The airplane pilots and mechanics, that work on these aircraft that fly 35,000, 40,000 feet every freaking day with hundreds, if not thousands, of passengers on them every day. Okay, are being left in the hands of the pilot and the maintenance crew. If we start doing things inferior to what we should do, if we start laxing on our quality control, we start jeopardizing not only our own safety, we start jeopardizing everybody we encounter on a daily basis and their safety. So that's why I wanted to bring these things up. It seems to me that in our country today, we have a lack of quality control and a lack of properly educating people the severity of their jobs when they're in the quality control or the repair part of it. Okay. That's like going to a mechanic and saying, oh, my starter went on my car, can you fix it for me? I got the starter. Here you go. Can you put that on for me? And they take it and they bring it back to you, and the starter's on it, yeah, but the battery's not in it. All the cables and the serpentine belt are off of it, and now they're saying, this, and that, and the other thing is off on it, when originally you wanted just one thing checked, okay? Now, that is quality control. No matter how mad you get at that mechanic, okay, for raising that bill even higher, you got to give him kudos and props for having the balls to go over it and investigate everything about it to make sure you and your family are safe. That's the kind of dedication we need in today's world. Okay. And I just wanted to bring that up, because I thought it was very important because, we all eat, we all go to the grocery store. We see Johnsonville kielbasa all the time on the shelf, in the refrigerator section, and some of us even, buy it and eat it and stuff. But, you know, it just seems to me like there is such a lack of quality control and professionalism, like the Kellogg's executive. Oh well, if they can't afford groceries, let them have cereal for dinner. Yeah, I got your cereal right here. Okay, right here's your cereal. Okay, and if that one don't suit you, I'm sure this one will. Okay, because that to me means that the people that are in the elitist positions don't give a rat's ass about any of us. Okay. They care about selling their product and making their billions. Okay. So, anyways, I just wanted to go over that. Okay. To me, those are two things that we need to talk about. The other thing I want to talk about too, real quick, is this April 8th prediction of 3 days of darkness. Well, before we go over that, you all know why the elitists are building all these underground bunkers, correct? I mean, do you understand that? I can't look at the chat right now because I'm doing the actual photographs, but I'm sure Eric can do the chat for me. These elitists, like the guy that owns Facebook, and Bezos, and who's the guy that owns the Virgin Mobile and all that. I can't remember his name. Anyways, they're all building these great, humongous bunkers and stuff in their properties. They're buying up properties like Zuckerberg, who bought what 40 acres in Hawaii on an island and built a big, massive underground bunker there. You know, why they're doing it is it's not. I don't think it's because of the how do I want to say this without getting offending people. I don't think it's because they believe that Jesus is returning or that aliens are coming, to take over our world or whatnot. Because trust me, they could have done that a long time ago. Um, I think it's because of this picture, okay, and this will describe exactly what they're expecting to happen before 2025. Okay, take a look at this picture. Do you see that up where my logo is? You see what's circled there? That is called an asteroid. Any of you that played that 1980s game in the arcades, Asteroids, where you had to shoot them out of the sky in order to save your planet? Well, pretty much the same scenario. Okay. They are predicting that an asteroid is going to hit Earth. Okay. They are predicting it because its trajectory is within a certain amount of not even thousands of miles. It's more like hundreds of miles off of the Earth's sides. Okay, in other words, deflecting. But even if an asteroid deflects off of our surface of the planet, it's still going to cause enough destruction to destroy at least 2/3 of every living thing on this planet. Okay. That is one of the reasons they are building all of these underground bunkers. Okay. That is it right there. That is one of the reasons. Okay. They don't know how to stop these things. Okay. It's kind of like that one movie they had back in the 80s, the late 80s, with, uh, I forget the actor's name, but, where they had to go up and set off charges on the asteroid to deflect it from hitting Earth. It's kind of that scenario, okay? But that is what they are predicting. And from everything that I can find, it is a legitimate reason to be basically fearful of losing your life and your family's lives. So that's why, and I don't understand why they think underground bunkers are going to keep them safe, because at the rate of speed that thing's going, it could probably punch a hole through this planet, which means if it hits your bunker, guess where you're going to be? You're going to be in outer space, buddy, floating around in your safe little bunker with no oxygen and just enough food to keep you alive for probably 6 months. So, yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. But, anyways, I wanted to go over that. And April 8th, coming up, we have all heard the prophecies of the 3 days of darkness. That is actually a prophecy that is from the Catholic faith. Okay. I'm not going to say, that it can't happen, because science has already proven that it can happen. Okay. In fact, they're preparing for it. I don't know if you've seen all of the schools that have closed, businesses that have closed. Law enforcement and the military have been put on alert for April 8th, to quell anything that comes up. There are reports that there's going to be biological attacks on American citizens that are viewing the eclipse, in the prime locations like Buffalo, New York, Erie, PA, Dallas, Texas, all those locations where those people are watching it. Be on your guard, okay? Because there is a threat out of biological weapon of some kind will be released, okay? And that came right from mainstream media news, on one of the ABC channels and the Fox channels on YouTube. Be some kind of reason for the 3 days of darkness. Okay, and those of you that don't understand, the 3 days of darkness, when the moon covers the sun. Okay, before that, the day before that full eclipse, and the day after that full eclipse, you are still going to have enough eclipse happening to make it darker than normal. Okay, on 3 days in a row. Okay, the darkest being the middle day. Okay, that's where the 3 days of darkness comes in. Okay, now we've all seen the reports of the tracks from 2017 and 2024, and we've all seen the X in the center of the Midwest there. So Eric, be prepared. But I wanted to show you something else too. Now, you know how I've always kind of talked about how evil, and whether you call them demons, whether you call them vampires, whether you call them lizard beings, reptilians, whatever you call them, they're still the same thing. They're evil entities. They're evil beings. Okay, and this is their world. Okay, and I don't know how much more plainer I can make it, but do you all remember the vampire series that I did about the vampires being a real thing, and showing you the different symbolisms that they use to mark their area? The V with the circle, the V with the line through it in a circle, which is the feeding area, and last week I believe I showed you all the tattoo of the guy that was showing it off that had the same symbolism. Okay, the V with the line through it in a circle and the letter. Okay, that kinda, if you think about the V with the line through it, what does this do when it marks our country? Do you see it? It marks our country. Every eclipse we've had in the last, what, 5 years, 10 years maybe at the max, is shown here. And look at what it makes. It makes a V with a line through it. That's odd. I just wanted to bring that up to everybody, okay? But also, it is legitimate. There is an FBI warning of possible biological terrorism done during the eclipse. It may be the day before when it's not totally dark. It may be the day after when it's not totally dark. But it is going to happen somewhere along the route of the eclipse, is what they're saying. Okay. Now, it's kind of like, do they say it and because they're kind of doing it, or are they saying it to actually forewarn you folks out there that's listening? I don't know. But anyways, that's the news and stuff I wanted to go over this morning and show everybody. I'm going to bring Eric on, my brother from Missouri, and we're going to get started on talking about all kinds of weird stuff today, okay? Let's bring him on.
Hey, everybody. Sorry, give me one second. I was replying to Freaky here. Yeah, that's that 3 days of darkness is well. I mean, let's start off with the Johnsonville thing. So that's not uncommon. Like we was talking about backstage. I mean, there is tons of evidence that supports that. How do I put this on here without getting in trouble? Certain entities remove certain parts of certain life forms, and what remains of them life forms are then sold to corporations, i.e., McD, and other stuff, as beef, pork, chicken. And the fact that remains of life forms are being found in all this product is becoming very, very it's coming open a lot more than what it used to be, which could be part of the opening people's eyes to what's really going on.
Right.
So that Johnsonville thing doesn't surprise me a bit, which sucks because I like their kielbasa. So who knows? I might have been eating long pork this whole time.
Yeah.
That's the one reason why I don't even eat at MCD no more. Is because of that stuff right there. That's one of the biggest reasons why I won't do it. Um, even WALM, I don't go there, and I knew the original owner very well, very very well. I used to feed with him and feed cattle and hay cattle with him, and I'd go fishing with him. I drove around in the back of a truck with his dog a lot. I knew him very well. In fact, I didn't know who he was until after his death that he was the guy, if that makes sense. And the fact of what I've discovered in the
Yeah.
military that they are a part of.
Walt.
Yeah, yeah, I knew Sam Walton personally. I used, like I said, I mean, I've feed and hayed cow with him. Went fishing with him. I've rode in the back of his truck a lot. In fact, I only seen him in a suit one freaking time, and that's when he said, "Hold on, boys, before we go do anything, I gotta come in here and take care of a little business." And then he'd go in, take care of his business, come out. We go to a mutual friend's house. I don't want to say the name, so I don't have permission. And he would change back into his overalls. That's all he wore was a t-shirt and overalls. That's all he ever wore. He drove around in a beater truck. And the fact that what his business is tied to nowadays, oh man, I know he'd be pissed. That was not what he was about. Um, so I mean, rarely will you ever see me in one of those
Yeah.
facilities anymore. I mean, that is a last dish effort. I have to do it type deals. So I mean, with that being said, that's
Right.
not uncommon. And to me, my outlook on this what we're coming out, what we're seeing now is all part of the waking people up program. Before this new age, this new Eric can come in, people's got to get woken up. There has to be a 10-day of darkness. So I'm wondering if this 3-day of darkness isn't a pre-run to that 10-day. I'm a firm believer, like I said in the chat a little bit ago, that the deal with AT&T and Facebook last week wasn't probably a trial run. That's possible.
Yeah.
But so I mean,
Yeah.
this is all interesting.
Now we yeah we I actually brought up today also with the John Barnett thing with Boeing.
Yeah.
There are so many people that have become unalive around these elitists that bring up certain issues that Congress says that they want to investigate, but every time somebody comes up as a whistleblower, other than the ones they're just paid to do it, maybe people that are whistleblowers become unalive because of the congressman getting them to leak details. Okay. Now it reminds me of, remember the guy that used to work for the big C and little uh, little C when she was secretary of the state. He was found basically tied to a tree with a gunshot wound and a shotgun laying on the ground about 100 feet away from him. You know,
Mm.
now again, how do you shoot yourself with a shotgun? While you're tied to a tree. Okay, you don't. Okay, why do you take a swim at midnight off the backside of somebody's mansion in Cape Cod that we will name no names? Obama. Anyways, you know, why would you take a midnight swim nude and be found unalive
I,
the
hey,
next morning?
I'm just as guilty of taking
Did they possibly overhear
a
something?
Yeah, I'm guilty for taking a shiner dip at midnight, but not unalived.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had my days of that too, but my younger days.
Yeah,
But I think it's very fascinating how if that was us, we would be in so much freaking trouble. It's pitiful. Okay. But because of these
yeah,
elitists and their position that they had and held in the government or who they were related to or whatnot, or how prominent family ties are, um, nothing happens. Nothing
no,
happens. You know, I'm gonna say this because this is how I really, really see things, that it's gonna take more than just one more term of a certain president to straighten this
yeah,
country out. Okay. It's gonna take one after another, and after another to straighten this country out. Okay. We
but it's
got
not
crap
going to just
going
take.
on like around here like you don't. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Mm.
Anyways, let's get off the news subject because that is the news, and we're going to push that aside, okay? And we're going to get into talking about haunted objects and divot
Ooh,
boxes and stuff like that. Um,
ooh.
have you ever experienced a haunted object, Eric?
Oh man, yeah, yeah. That's that is something that is not uncommon at all. I have always done my investigations, research, however you want to put. I've always done it by myself. This past Friday with Da and his family was the first time I ever did it with somebody else. But I can tell you now, man, just the stuff I've seen in my time and when I've done stuff solely by myself, the fact that haunted objects is not uncommon. I mean, look at Doll Island down there in where was that at? That's a was it Mexico? I think it's Mexico. Doll Island. Yeah. Uh, is that man that I wonder, this brings up a theory I've always had. People have such a fear, a phobia of freaking dolls. It's unreal. And I wonder if that's because, I mean, look how many times look at Dark Magic where you got the voodoo doll. Look how many times in ancient beliefs that they sculptured their dead, deceased relatives and believe that the spirits are within them. Look what the Egyptians did. So
Mhm.
all that
Yeah.
kind of comes together as one. I can't dispute it. I mean, from what I've read in ancient history, what I've seen on the phobias, what I've seen in firsthand, 100%. But it's not just dolls. I mean, it could be anything. It could be a freaking chair. I mean, I've seen them where
Yeah. Well,
they have, yeah,
now, speaking of chairs, Eric, listen to this, okay? When I was a kid growing up in the haunted house that we lived in on the property that was supercharged with paranormal and supernatural crap going on every day, um, all the way up to the point where you know, to where my wife Tracy and I got married, we actually stayed there for a little bit, until we got on our feet and all that. And we had stuff happening then too. Just ask Tracy about the bouncing ball. She'll tell you. Um, but we had in my parents' bedroom, they had this rickety old wooden chair sitting next to my mother's side of the bed. And those of you that know me know my mother was a dark witch. Okay, she was into all the voodoo and just all the dark magic. Okay, and she was teaching me as a child to do that. In fact, I still remember how to do a lot of it, and I don't even like having that memory. But anyways, to make a long story short, that wooden chair she had sitting next to the bed. I asked her one time when I was little, I said, what's that chair sitting there for? And my mother actually replied to me that that is the devil's chair. When he comes to talk to me, he sits in that chair, and that is solely the devil's chair. Now, I ask you, do the words that come out of our mouths manifest the evil that is in the chair? Yes. Does it manifest the evil that's in the doll or the stuffed animal? Yes. Okay. Words have power. Okay.
Yeah.
They have unlimited power. Okay. And if you know how to tweak them and play it, you could be the most successful dark arts. You can be the most successful magician, anything in life, if you want to manipulate the words to your advantage. Okay. And that's what happens every day in lives. I mean, somebody says, "Oh, my stomach just doesn't feel right. I think I'm getting sick." Well, 4 hours later, they're getting sick. You know, that's the way it works. Okay. When you convince yourself, your body, your mind, your spirit, that something is going to happen just by the words coming out of your mouth, that's going to manifest. Okay. Plain and simple. Now, you know, we talk about the dolls and all that. I actually have, I have, when I went through my first cancer, a pastor at a local church gave me a teddy bear. Okay. It's a big teddy bear. It's probably, I don't know, about 2 feet tall, and just something to have with me in the room to focus on. And I will tell you this, okay? That bear went through everything with me while I was in the hospital the first time. And I was in the hospital for a long time, getting radiation treatments and chemo and endoscopies and ports put in my chest and all kinds of stuff, biopsies, just and we're not talking just one or two biopsies, we're talking dozens of biopsies. Okay. um but do you think for one instance that teddy bear that was sitting on the foot of my bed every moment that I was going through that might have some of me attached to it? It might. It
Oh yeah.
absolutely could happen. Okay. So I don't know, what do you think, Eric?
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. I was in a similar thing. Now, when I was 2 years old in St. Joe, Missouri, I won the cutest baby contest in St. Joe, Missouri, which my prize was this 2 foot bear. I called him Smokey, and I had Smokey for years. And anytime I was in the hospital, anytime I was feeling down, feeling sad, Smokey was my companion to cheer me back up. I had him for a very long time, up until we had a fire, and then we lost him in that fire. I mean, I grew up with Smokey. My plan was to have my kids, Smokey, be a part of my kids' life too. And unfortunately, I mean, that didn't happen. So, not only can your essence be attached to something, but when you're dealing with other things out there in the paranormal field, you got to realize that too. So, I mean, like that comment I was talking about on the chair, when somebody spends a whole lot of time in that chair, that is their comfort zone, that is their safe spot, that is the thing they're familiar with. It's not uncommon to either A, have a residual haunting in that chair, or B, have an intelligent haunting that still exists in that chair because that chair was a big part of their life. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, 100% that is agreeable. I mean, I've seen a lot of that stuff firsthand myself. I mean, one of the first times you see a rocking chair rock on its own is going to make you damn near piss your pants. I mean, it is something to behold. It is creepy as hell. But you got to realize too,
Yep.
you folks. I
Yep,
mean,
exactly.
when it comes to this stuff, like you was talking about earlier with the power. If you want to go on the biblical side of it, God says we have the power of life and death in our tongue. So to mind what you say. So, it's You got to think about that anytime you're talking about something. You got to watch your words, and that's like goes what you say on sickness. And it also goes towards somebody else. You do not want to speak harm upon yourself or somebody else because you have that power in your tongue to do so. Um, well, Scott, you probably winded up in that thing if it's still around after you go and start feeding the worms. So I mean, it's that stuff is not uncommon at all. Even with we'll take my paranormal investigation this weekend I did with DA and his family. They were attached to certain stuff there. I mean, that's pretty obvious. They were attached to that bar. I mean, and I got disembodied voices that wasn't even caught on our EVP stuff, dating back before that place was even built. So I mean, they're attached to a location as well. Um, I mean, I've got stuff on there that I can't understand. It's either
Yeah,
gibberish or it's Native
speaking,
American. I just go ahead.
yeah, speaking of EVPs and all that, you know, we've all that have done investigations in haunted locations or in haunted objects um, have listened to EVPs, whether it's over digital recorders or whether it's a ghost box. You know, doesn't matter. It's all the same. Basically, it's manipulation of electronic field and radio signals to get a message across to the living. But one thing my my teachings have always taught me was that sometimes we as human beings reverse things. Okay, because what if we are the ones that are unalive and the voices that are coming through the box are alive? Do you
Yep.
see what I mean? It's kind of like a reversal. Okay. Kind of like we're being tested in this flesh suit every day of our lives. And when we graduate, if we're allowed to graduate, we go on to the real life. Okay. That's just, something that I was told that could be. It's kind of like the theory of if you're dying and you see light at the end of the tunnel. Some people say don't go to the light, stay out of the light, turn around and face the opposite direction, and you'll see the vast universes around where you came from. Okay, because that light at the end of the tunnel is the exit port of the feminine, where you get reborn back into this world.
Mm-hmm.
It's called soul recycling, okay, is what it's called. And whenever your soul reaches a certain point that's educated enough and knows enough and accomplished enough, satisfactory, then you're allowed, your essence is allowed to move on. Okay. So, do you go to the light? Do you not go to the light? That is the
Mm-hmm.
question.
Yeah. That's a very, very big theory that's going on nowadays, in which I'm seeing a lot of evidence of that being a very good possibility. I don't know enough about it to have a good opinion. I just know that there's a lot of weight in that. I mean, there is a lot of weight suggesting that that is how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been there, so I mean, I can't tell you if that's true or not. I tried to ask some people, it's even when I do my investigations, sometimes we'll get EVP hits. It says "help me," like one example. I don't want to give too much away because I'm still working on the show, but I mean, even this last Friday when we had an EVP hit that said "help me," and I asked, "Do you need help crossing over?" and it comes back saying "saved," kind of tells you something right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I was
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
catch Faith's
exactly.
comment here.
Now you have your ghost box out, right?
Yeah, I got my spirit box. I can put batteries in if you want, but I've got the batteries out because I try not to ruin my equipment. So I try to take my batteries out of stuff. But this is a spirit box, which I can Give me a second. I can put them in real quick. If anybody knows anything about electronics, if you leave batteries in something for too long, it'll actually corrode your stuff, and you got to replace it. Sometimes you can clean it, fix it. Sometimes not so much. This is a handy device. I have more luck on my digital recorders than I actually do this thing here, but it is handy. I mean, I have cotton stuff on there, and sadly, I don't think I was able to catch the recording from this weekend of when we were getting hits on here. There we go. So it's going to scan frequencies and sound like this. And if a voice, there you go, stop. It's if you get a good enough electronic voice in it, it'll pick up and say something. They're very handy, very very handy in paranormal investigations. I mean, I've got my kit over there on the other side of my desk. It's got my other stuff in it. I have two different kinds of digital recorders, but what you look for when you're doing paranormal is you need high energy. Sometimes some places you go into don't have enough energy, and they've got to take energy from somewhere, but they need it to communicate. If they don't have the right amount of energy, they can't. But you'll run into a lot of weird stuff when you're doing that. Like I could probably, let's see if I can share something on here. This one here was cool, but kind of freaky at the same time. I'm not gonna lie. Let me get down here. Let's see if I can add something on here. Go there. Oh, it won't let me do it. Why will it not let me load that? Okay. Well, I don't think my speaker will be loud enough where you guys can hear it. Come in here. Where you at? Right there. Right there. Disembodied voices. Where are you? I've got so many of these things that I've caught, and I'm still going through. I'm not even halfway through just my first recording alone that I've found. I'll have to replay it. Could you guys hear that? If you guys couldn't hear that, that was a female calling my name.
Nice. Play that again.
Yep. Was you guys able to hear it on the speaker? I can try to move one of these closer to the mic. Let me do that, see if it works better.
We could hear it, but it wasn't exactly clear.
Okay, here we go. I was trying to get it where I can transfer over to here, but unfortunately, let me see if there's a way I can do it. Let me turn this back down, otherwise we'll have a lot of echo.
Yeah, I heard it that time, that's for sure. And it does distinctly say Eric.
Yeah. And I've got just on one recording alone, and I ain't even halfway through the other one, over 80 hits, disembodied voices, that was not picked up on EVP. That is one of them. 1 out of 80 something. Yeah. So you got to realize it takes energy just to do something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen full-bodied apparitions before, and I've seen shadow people. little
Yep.
people, orbs, you name it. Everybody has experienced some form of paranormal in their lives. It's trying to make sense of it all as our whole world is turned topsy turvy right now.
Mm.
Trying to connect the dots and make everything mesh together to figure out what's going on. Um, there was a time when in history, well, every time in history that we usually go to war, it seems like the paranormal activity escalates. Okay. Whether it's where the war is being fought or whether it's family members of people that are fighting the wars, are experiencing
Hmm.
things, it always picks up. Now, I know for a fact, Eric, with you being in the military and myself, when I was over in the sandbox, you know, we had to basically deal with what everybody calls the jinn. And
Oh.
there were instances where that actually, would manifest itself and basically act like a poltergeist would act, throwing things around or opening up and slamming doors, all kinds of stuff. And every time it happened, on base, we would say, "Oh, that's just a jinn. Don't even worry about them." But the fact of the matter is, these things exist.
Yeah.
They do exist, and people that are sensitive are going to experience these things more than people that aren't sensitive. So, have you ever experienced anything like that?
Well, I mean, far as the gin, as we know gin being in the Middle East. Now, when I done a show on gin, I posed a question there, buddy. Is what is called a gin there called something different here? I mean, look at your poltergeist, look at stuff like that. They all act the same thing. Now, your gin is a creation that was older than humans. They live in a different dimension, and they travel back and forth between that dimension and this one. So,
Right.
do I believe that gin is solely Middle East? No, I do not. I mean, something that old, something that powerful can travel further than the Middle East. So what they call jinn over there, we may call poltergeist here.
Yeah, they're
Poltergeist is the
definitely
German
ancient.
word for English spirit. Yeah. And most of your gin
Yeah.
is not
Yep.
very friendly. Most of your gin is not friendly at
Right.
all.
Yeah.
I was
True.
I was either
Very true.
fortunate
I
or
want to.
unfortunate. I did.
I'm gonna. Yeah. I'm gonna not to interrupt you, but I'm gonna post a picture here. I want you all to see this, okay? And I'm gonna post another one after it, okay? These pictures are worth 1,000 times the words that I could even think of to even manifest anything. But take a look at this.
Mhm.
This is Prince William and Kate
Hmm.
Middleton, okay, at a gala. This picture was taken about 7, maybe 8 years ago. Now you look above Prince William's head and the guy that's in between them, his head, and you look at that. What does that look like to you? Because I'll bring it in closer. Trust me. It
Flying
looks to
robot.
me like a demon. It looks to me like a demon, and I'll show you. And nobody else saw this apparently.
Oh,
Okay,
oh,
but here's the close
oh,
up.
yeah. Wow.
Okay. Now that is the close up, and it looks like it is a demon holding a lamb or
Mm.
eating a lamb. And doesn't that send chills down your spine? Going from this picture of them and seeing that object up there above their heads, and then blowing it up and seeing that.
Wow.
Picture's worth 1,000 words, folks. Picture is worth
Mhm.
1,000 words. You think that's a demon?
Oh,
I
yeah.
do. I
Oh, yeah.
highly believe that is a demon. and you can tell
Yeah.
it's holding a white lamb, or a goat or something along that line, sacramental, sacrificial type of a animal, that it looks like it's just, eating, you know.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just, stuff like that. It's fascinating because it just proves the connection that everything has. Because everybody talks about the royal family and their bloodline and how they're reptilians, and you know then Juno can tell you too, if he's in the chat. All the talks about the Dulce base, in Dulce, Mesa, and how you go down 7 levels, and the first 7 levels
Ooh.
are like human interaction with alien and all that. But the very bottom level of that facility is said to have the deities that are involved and are controlling this world, and they are called Dracos. Okay. um
Hmm.
in fact, here is a Draco. Okay, I'm going to show you a Draco. Okay, give me 1 second here. I got a lot of pictures that I uploaded. Here's one walking down the side of a street. Okay, that's a Draco. Okay, that is a Draco. Okay, this is another form of what a Draco will look like. Okay, let me show you here.
Yeah.
They are the warrior class of their species. They are the descendants of the dinosaurs. They were here before man. This was their world before it was our world. Okay. They live deep below the surface of the earth. Okay. And they are said to be the ones in charge of all the alien species in Dulce, New Mexico. Okay. And in Dulce, New Mexico, allegedly is where all those missing people end up to have experiments on, because our powerless, people that are in charge of our country have agreed to cough up so many human lives every year for them to experiment on with other aliens, to intermix the DNA and to make other creatures. In fact, there's a level in that Dulce compound there, the dumb facility. Um, there is a level there where there's tanks filled with species that were intermixed, and made into other things, not exactly 100% human. Um, they say that they've created all kinds of different things, from human and octopus combinations to human and goat combinations to human and pig combinations to human and mountain lion combinations to human and ape and human and wolf combinations. Okay, there's all kinds. Praying mantis is another form. Okay, so you have to really, when you're dealing with crap like this on a regular basis, you know it's something that we need to just realize that this is going on. Okay. um and it is going on, and unfortunately the powers that be in this world want to keep it going on. I mean, here's another Draco. The less how do I want to say this? The less civilized ones of the reptilians live on closer to the surface. Okay, they're the ones you see in the swamps that they call the lizard man and all that. They're that type. Okay, they're more of a a dinosaur mentality. Okay, just constantly thinking about eating, and and that's pretty much it. And what do they eat? They eat humans. Ooh, that wasn't good. That
What
was
happened,
a
bro?
big aircraft that just flew overhead. Big aircraft just flew overhead, folks. And I mean, it sounded very low to the roof of my place. Okay. Anyways, to make a long story short, that it speaks a thousand words. That is definitely
Yeah.
some kind of demonic deity in that photograph. And you can almost see the correlation too between the reptilian beings and this being, by the shape of its head. It's almost got like a crest that goes around where your ears would go around the head, which is very, very unusual. So that was just something I wanted to pop up today to show you guys that even the royal family doesn't know what's around them. And if they do, they don't tell us. So,
Well, and that's the funny thing you say about royal family is
here's
that the
something
actual
else.
royal.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not even royal, really. They're not supposed to be the ones that are in there. Their bloodline is not the pure line. So,
Yep, they're the Nazi regime that
let's
was put
see.
in after
I
during World
found
War
this
II.
too. I thought I found this on one of my searches that I was doing on some research about CERN, and I thought this title was very, very interesting. That CERN and the Vatican prepare to open the bottomless pit. Now, I ask you, okay, if CERN and the Vatican are working together to open the bottomless pit, what do you think's going to come out of the bottomless pit?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
it's it's
actually
it's amazing to think that mankind is so stupid that we would let it on, you know?
yeah. That's I mean, yeah, that's an interesting. I mean, that's a whole new show on its own right there. What can come out of that thing, and what has came out of it already. I mean, look at that hole that the Russians dug to the center
Hmm.
of the earth. Look at the sounds they heard coming out of that, screams and tortures and stuff like that. It's it. You open that can of worms. Yeah, yeah. Hmm, that's not going to be a good time for any of us right there.
Yeah, and that's just some of the stuff I wanted to show, Yeah, I just wanted to
Hmm.
show some of that to everybody that, these dots are getting connected for a reason. Um, and there's so much that we as human beings don't have the capability of understanding. Okay, we don't have that ability to understand like we did back in the old days. um
No.
we've kind of lost that connection, so we're kind of at a loss for figuring things out, okay, for connecting the dots. We're
Yeah.
already with our backs against the wall, especially the way our world is going nowadays. um but that being said, um I'm starting to run out of air in my lungs. But that being said, um, our world still has a fighting chance if the light bearers can keep it, the darkest at bay. Keep them at bay. Keep them away from drowning out all the light. And that is something that is prophesied in every religion, that there are going to be certain light bearers that are coming forth and preaching the gospel word, like the two witnesses of Yeshua, God in heaven, our Father in heaven, Um, I almost feel like the dark forces realize that it's going to come and culminate to their end, and that's why things are going the way it is. Because I'll tell you guys, and I'll let me say this too. Those of you that know me and follow me on Facebook know that I've been having a lot of problems lately physically, with breathing and being able to move and being able to see. Um, you know, I had struggled for 2 days to work on Tracy's car to get it running. And, I just kept on, because I'm not a mechanic. Okay. I don't even portray one on TV. Okay. I'm not a mechanic. Okay. So let's put that out there. I'm just a tinker. I like to tinker with stuff to get things to know how they work, and to try and get them to work after I get done tinkering with them. Um, but I was struggling to try to get her car fixed, and I stopped everything, and I sat down in the lawn chair next to her car, and I said a prayer. I started praising Yahuwah. The for every moment I was sitting there under my breath, I was praising him and thinking it, and thanking him for having me complete the job and all that. And before I knew it, on the second day of rebuilding her water pump and all that, and installing all kinds of hoses and stuff, and the serpentine belt and all that, which we all know, if you're a mechanic, that's some pretty difficult stuff if you're not a mechanic. Okay. But I got it done. And the whole time I was doing it, I was praying. I was praying the whole time I was doing it, that Yahuwah would guide my hands, to fix the car, and give it enough of a blessing to have the car run. You know, we all think that we take for granted the little things in life. Okay. We take for granted the things like a car, a bicycle, a loaf of bread. We take these things for granted until we don't have them. Okay. And then we realize we should have, manifested this. We should have thanked the Creator for gifting us in this and blessing us with this, and that it's in His hands. Way things are going in the world, no matter what faith you are, you know, no matter what religion you are, you have faith. Okay. And we really need to I think, focus a little bit more because of the way things are going. Okay. And that's just my opinion on that, from what I went through, with trying to fix things. And it's it struck me last night when I was, and I can't even move. I can't tell you how sore I am. Okay. I can't tell you how physically worn out I feel from doing that for 2 days. Um, but knowing that I did it and accomplished that little thing that we took for granted for so long and made it into a positive thing is a good feeling. And that's the way we need to kind of look at our lives today in this world. We need to focus more on thanking for what we have, instead of wishing we had something that we don't. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that every time we open up our mouths, we're manifesting something. Okay. It's like I said in the Bigfoot special that I did last night, I recorded and I released When we go on a Bigfoot investigation or we have a report of a location that we're investigating, we go there in a good way. We prepare ourselves in a good way. We don't go there guns ablazing and big bear traps and swords, the 6 foot long swords. You don't go there with that crap, okay? You go there with good intentions. You make that connection to Mother Earth. You curl your toes up into Mother Earth, okay? And you feel her heartbeat when you put your hand against a tree, and you will feel the heartbeat. You make that connection, that sacred connection, and then you go into the woods or the forest or the mountains and look for your encounter. And your encounter, I guarantee your encounter will happen. It will happen. So, but that's just, the way we do things. We manifest it all the time. Yes, gratitude is definitely the path to abundance. Very true, Robin. Thank you for putting that up there. That is very true. Um, you know, Eric, where can they find you on I know you've got a podcast because I watch it frequently and I'm a moderator on it.
Yeah.
And he can use more moderators and viewers, everybody. Let's get that out there, okay? So if you could, can you explain where they can find you on a podcast and all that and where they can find your books?
Yeah. So on my YouTube channel, you look up the bizarre and the unknown. If you see that symbol right there, you're at the right location, baby. I usually do a show on Saturday night. It's called the Campfire Chats with Eric and guests. There will not be one tonight. And I'm supposed to be on with DA Roberts tonight, but I have misunderstood the dates of my daughter's Miss Dallas County pageant. So I have that tonight, and I'm not going to miss that. I'm not going to miss a special night for my daughter. In fact, I'm getting ready as soon as I get off the show to go donate some
I
plasma,
don't
so I have
blame you.
money to go. You know, but you can find me on YouTube there. Sunday nights is my regular. Now, let me back up. So the Campfire Chats with Eric and guest, that is a good place for you to go and share. Oh, thank you, Robin. Thank you so much. Um, it's the Campfire Chats is a good place. It's a comfortable place for you coming to share your encounters. Now you can share it in your chats, which is what most people do. Or if you want to come on live and we talk about it live, you're more than welcome. It is a safe place to become. I will not judge. We may, and I'm a firm believer, and I preach this all the time. I may not agree with your opinion. I may have a different opinion, but it doesn't mean you're right and I'm wrong, or I'm wrong or I'm right and you're wrong. That don't matter. This is our opinions. So we need to get them. I mean, it's a good place to get it out there. Give me 1 second, baby girl. Um, and then Sunday nights is my regular show, which is called The Bizarre and the Unknown, which I'm going to be doing one on the 37th parallel, which is funny that you bring up the Dulce hidden base, because that is along the 37th parallel. So I will be doing that tomorrow night unless something pops up. I do have a show coming out. Talked a little bit about it tonight.
Right.
Yeah. About it tonight, which is this the paranormal investigation with me, D.A. Roberts, and his family at the Shade Beaver in Everton, Missouri. Now, Everton, Missouri has a lot of history, good, bad, ugly, and in between, So it's going to be fun. I'm still doing a lot of work. I've still got a lot of audio and video that I'm going through. I've caught so much stuff on there so far. So I'm still working on that. I am also, now that the documentary I was a part of, the Byways of Bigfoot with Linda Eastburn, is now available on YouTube for you guys to go and watch. I watched it yesterday, loved it. You'll see my fluffy butt in there. I can now show all my evidence of my Bigfoot findings during my Bigfoot investigation. So I will be doing a show very soon on that. I have to, out of respect for Linda and in the show and the documentary that I'm part of, I'm going to give some time for her to air her stuff on YouTube for people to go and watch it before I do my show. So I will probably do a show here in a couple weeks
Mhm.
on my Bigfoot investigations and show you all the multitude of pictures and stuff that I have found. Um, and a lot of it's dealing with my guest that I have here. So it's a fun show. I've got 5 books released on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon, look up Ed Testerman, kind of like how my name's spelled in the box here. Um, then you'll be able to link on there, find my books. You can follow me on Amazon. Anytime I release a new book, it will be on there. Um, so that's on there. Currently, I've got 2
Oh,
on
thank you,
audio.
Robin.
3 more is fiction to be done soon. So I should have all 5 books available on audio. Thank you, Robin. You're awesome. I'm kind of skimming through. I know I've missed some comments. So if you guys said something, I apologize. Um, so it's a great time. You know, William's a huge inspiration for me. A wealth of knowledge. I am very blessed to have this man in my life that I can lean on in certain situations. And same as Da. So to be on here with William, to have William on my, come with me and communicate in my chats on my show is a blessing, and I'm thankful for him, and I'm thankful for all my followers I got. When I last looked, I'm at 54 right now, so I'm a small dude. You know, I'm a small fish in a big pond, but I'm growing, baby. And I'm thankful for every single one of you guys because it's you guys which makes my show and this show possible, and you guys are the reasons why we do this stuff. So I'm very blessed and thankful for every single one of
Exactly.
you guys. So, but yeah, it's fun.
Exactly. As I am too. Yeah, it's something that I mean, we talk about all kinds of weird stuff, in our podcasts and stuff, and when I cover, I'm going to start doing a lot of that weird news stuff too in the beginnings too, like we did today, because some people don't get that information, they're not privy to it, and that's why I like to bring stuff up. So,
Yeah.
and does it have to do with the paranormal or the supernatural or cryptids? Not really, but then again, it might because the powers that are in control of our world that we currently are in are dark powers. So yes, they
Mhm.
could be manipulating it, through food and through, travel and all that too. So anyways, that being said, if you can please like, heart, and share this out, everybody. And by all means, let's go to Bizarre and Unknown on YouTube and subscribe to Eric's channel to help him out. Um, let's get one day. Okay. So if you guys can go and make sure you're subscribed, not only to my channel, but to Eric's channel, that would be great. Okay. There's also ways that you can donate on the bottom of the screen to help these channels out. I plan on helping Eric out with his channel if I can. So, you know, that being said, I want to thank everybody in the chat. You all are awesome. Robin, Freaky Geek, Ray, Scott was in there, I believe, momentarily, and I know a lot of people are watching too. But you guys are family in the chat. You really are. So everything
Yeah.
we do for you guys. We love and respect every one of you. And in fact, when I got to get a different mouse for this computer because this one is going haywire. I can't even control it. I got this asterisk
Hey,
going,
brother.
like this little arrow going everywhere on the screen, trying
Hey,
to swat a
send
fly.
me
But
send me your address in Messenger, and I have a spare mouse and keyboard if you need one.
oh,
I'll just
okay,
send it to you.
cool. All right, awesome. Yeah, I just this it's a wireless one, so it kind of does its own thing. It's like somebody else is controlling it.
Well, the
But it
one I
makes
got
these
is
cool
wired.
colors.
Yeah, this, that's my new one. That's my new one. I love this little thing so far. But mine's wired, but I mean you're more
Yeah.
than welcome to it until you can get you another one, brother. Not a problem at all. Send me your address in private chat and on Messenger, and I'll it'll be next Friday before I can get it out, but I'll get it out to you.
All right, brother. Well, everybody in the chat, thank you all for being here today. If you can, like, heart, and share this out, like I ask. The only way we're going to get ahead in this world is if you all support us by doing that, by subscribing, by sharing this with your family and friends, and just let them know all the weird stuff that's going on. That there is a forum that we can all come to and talk about it. Okay, and with that being said, I want to thank everybody today in the chat, and thank you, Eric, for being here. Much love. Question everything, please. Question everything. Everybody have a great day. Rhonda, great to see you. Everybody have a great day. And David, I hope be talking to you later, brother. Robin, thank you for all the great comments. Freaky Geek, you too. And anybody else, Ray, thank you for being here. Rhonda, thank you for coming on. You guys are awesome. You all, we respect you and love you all very much. So that being said, like, heart, and share this out, folks. Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel, subscribe. You can go to our store, bonfire/store. / into the red rabbit hole. Get yourself, there's probably 15 different styles of t-shirts. There's 4 different styles of mugs, and I believe I've got some canvas bags too, like a beach bag that you can order. So Saturday, enjoy your weekend, but while you're enjoying it, question everything. Thank you all very much. God bless.
Peace, love, and blessings, everybody.